Hey y'all, welcome to season 11, week 1. This is Coach Birdido, and we're going up against Adam Blakjay, coach of the Punxsutawney Photcharisu and co-host of the draft analysis videos that I do. He drafted a very scary team. I rated it sort of high middle in the analysis, and having then prepping for it, I actually got a lot more scared of it. So yeah, let me just go over some of what went down. This is after the fact. I was having some difficulty recording things um, the day that we did the battle, so um, yeah, so it's post com. Anyway, um, so at first glance, Dragapult looks really good. I feel like a choice specs set with just a ghost move and a dragon move hits so much on his team, incredibly hard, and so it felt like I should just bring that. I drafted Dragapult first round, and I think that um, I wanted to build my first week with it. Um, I wanted to center around just letting Dragapult come in and hit as many times as possible. So you'll see the theme of um, pivoting in my the team that I ended up building just so that I could get Dragapult in as much as possible. Um, Looking at his team, he's got only really like a few things that I would consider a true check to Dragapult, namely thinking of like different Hydreigon builds, especially Choice Scarf. Um, I mean, you have to worry about Alakazam with Magic Guard and Focus Sash. But then there's these like Unburden Hitmonlee I was a little bit nervous about. And then SD Scizor. Even Choice Band Scizor, I think I was living most of those calcs, but if I'm trying to bring Dragapult in as much as possible, then it's obviously going to be taking chip damage. Anything with priority, I think on his team would be his best way to deal with Dragapult. So Comfy, and Scizor being, and then I obviously had to think about like Ice Shard and Sucker Punch on this low end, but um, so yeah, that's what I was thinking about on that side. Um, Hydreigon, yeah, Mienshao sits at a decent speed tier um, against his team, especially thinking that might scarf um, Hydreigon in order to get ahead of Dragapult. So I figured Scarf Mienshao was a must bring. With Regenerator, I can just U-turn around. If for whatever reason, or if somehow I get Alakazam down to its sash, I can just bring in Mienshao, U-turn, knock it out, and reset positioning. Um, these two felt like the 1-2 must bring. Looking at his team from there on the special side, he has Hydreigon, Comfy, and Alakazam are the things that I'm most scared of. Obviously, there's things like Weezing and Seismitoad, but these three in particular could really do work with my team. So um, I don't really have much for um, Specs Hydreigon. So I mean, what I ended up doing was hard investing in Spadef into Rotom and into Tyranitar running Assault Vest. Assault Vest Tyranitar was actually a decent check to all three of these. It can't do all three of them in the same match, but um, it can 1v1 each of these. So with Comfy, even though it can get the Calm Mind and then um, the priority fairy moves, Tyranitar could just take it out with a heavy slam. Hydreigon, I think I'm running superpower on Hydreigon in order to also take it in one hit. And then Alakazam, I could pretty much anything will bring it down to its sash. And it's living Focus Blasts, it's living um, the steel moves from this thing as well, and it's living those. So, um, running Tyranitar, running this Rotom-Mow. Rotom-Mow is also gonna get Volt Switch, so hopefully I can switch around. The only thing that's stopping me from just Volt Switching on the team is Seismitoad, and I don't think it would be wise for Adam to just keep bringing in Seismitoad on Rotom-Mow. Um, so this Manchow, Rotom-Mow, these are my first two pivot points to get in Dragapult, to potentially get in Tyranitar. And then on the physical side, he's got Scizor as the thing I'm most scared of, and Hitmonlee. Once again, there's other things to worry about, but just trying to prioritize things. Hitmonlee with Unburden can eventually get faster than Dragapult, um, and Mienshao. Scizor obviously gets priority bullet punch, so I was worried mostly about SD Scizor, while obviously thinking about Choice Band Scizor as well. So it felt like I also had to bring Arcanine. Arcanine's one of the only things on my team that can really shut down Scizor um, consistently. But that's putting a lot of pressure on Arcanine because it's very easy for Scizor to just click U-turn. And then it's now Arcanine in front of Hydreigon, Arcanine in front of whatever he has that he wants to chip it down with. Um, but I felt like I needed to bring Arcanine. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excadrill. It was the sixth Pokemon that I was going to bring. I wanted to have, so it felt like I had Mienshao as backup, so Hydreigon or any of his fasties didn't get out of control. And it felt like I had a defensive core of Arcanine, Rotom-Mow, T-Tar. My only like real offense was Dragapult, so I wanted to bring a pretty offensive Excadrill set. And even though I was running um, Sand with Tyranitar, it didn't really feel like I was getting much out of doubling my speed. And it felt like with Wheezing and Hydreigon, I can just click Earthquake as many times as I want. And his team doesn't really like it that well. And then also with the Iron Head coverage, felt like why not? So I brought Swords Dance, Rapid Spin, um, and then Earthquake and Iron Head. I didn't really feel like I would have a time to click Rapid Spin or even Swords Dance, but honestly, I felt like the only move I was really going to click was Earthquake. So that's his team. There's other weird tech that he has. He's got Pincurchin, which can set the electric terrain. Can get the quick unburden boost with an electric seed. You have Kling Klang with the steel roller. You have all these other options. Even during prep, sort of last minute, I thought that Cinccino looked scary too. Even like Life Orb or Choice Band, probably Choice Band sets. Obviously Choice Scarf as well. Cinccino. I was like, oh dang, this is this is scarier for me having forgotten to really prep for it. Um, so yeah, Choice Specs Dragapult, the thing the team is built around, and um, sort of assistant captain of offense would be Excadrill with Earthquake, Iron Head, Swords Dance, Rapid Spin. I have enough speed invested in here. I'm pretty much forced to run this much speed because Hitmonlee sits just under Excadrill. We also have pivot options in Arcanine with Teleport, Will-O-Wisp, Morning Sun, and Flamethrower. Morning Sun felt like I had to bring it so that Arcanine could stay at the highest health it could be at for the longest so that it just wasn't getting chipped down and chipped down and chipped down. Because I always needed it for Scizor late game. I had Teleport because it felt like if he was a choice band um, Scizor, then I would then I wanted to find a way to gain momentum instead of just predicting the switch out um, exactly right. I can just click teleport, and it's a new move. I want to use the new the new moves on these Pokemon too. Will-O-Wisp there to burn some things. Scizor, I doubt I would ever get to burn, but I don't know. Even something like Hitmonlee would be good for that, and then Flamethrower as my one attacking move. So we have a pivot option here, a pivot option here, and a pivot option here. We have Thunder Wave here because, like I said, this thing is going to be one of my um, special tanks, I guess. And so I want all of his special attackers are faster than Excadrill, all the ones that I'm most scared of. So being able to hopefully live a hit and Thunder Wave any of those will be good for me in the long run. Least Orb there for Seismitoad. Um, Defog there to get rid of rocks or spikes from Wheezing, and then Volt Switch feels incredibly free, like I was saying. We have Choice Scarf Shao with U-Turn. Poison Jab does, I don't know, okay damage to Comfy, but Comfy was probably going to knock me out anyway. I was mainly going to click Close Combat, U-Turn, sometimes Knock Off if he knew I was Scarfed and was trying to run away with Hydreigon. Then I could potentially click Knock Off. We also have my Assault Vest Tyranitar with enough speed to outspeed Seismitoad. It wasn't like necessary, but I felt like this much HP was helping me actually live. Okay, yeah, here's a choice specs. It was doing quite a bit as is, so I figured I might as well get faster than something else in the process. Before the match started, I wrote down three things. I wrote down Scizor wins late. That was a reminder to just try to maintain offense. Alongside that, I put Dreepy as much as possible. So I wanted to bring in the Dreepy, click choice specs, Shadow Ball every time I could. Um, Maybe I would click Draco Meteor once. Um, Things like Scizor and Comfy came down, but choice specs Shadow Ball felt like the play. Maybe choice specs Flamethrower on the Scizor, and then you turn two to try to catch to get Dragapult out safely if I knew it was obvious he was going to switch out. That's the team. Here is the playback. As you can see on team preview, he did not bring Alakazam. I'm going to toggle back and forth so we can look at it too. Did not bring the Cinccino. The threats that he brought on the special side are both there besides Alakazam. And then on the physical side, they're both there. So it looks like his defense is going to be the Weezing and the Seismitoad. Weezing having more physical bulk, being able to take hits from Mienshao. Felt like this was going to be the physically defensive Pokemon, and it felt like this was going to be the specially defensive Pokemon, barring the Rotom. Weezing or Seismitoad looks okay here too because my switch in, because I'm fearing the knockoff, then my switch in is probably going to be Rotom most times. I mean, knockoff plus stab, and Rotom also has the defog. So I was also wondering about toxic on this thing. So over time, Seismitoad gets more and more annoying. It's very easy to just run toxic, get it on Rotom, and then I click Leaf Storm as this switch goes to any of the three resists for that Pokemon. So I didn't want Stealth Rocks or Weezing Spikes to get up right away. So I'm thinking I'm going to lead Rotom. Rotom also covers for the potential Specs Hydreigon lead, which could just be, or Scarf Hydreigon, which could just be nasty right away to just get off some huge damage. So he does lead the Hydreigon. I lead the Rotom-Mow. I'm still thinking specs here, and I look at the Rotom-Mow calc, and I had it optimized with 192 HP and 152 SPDEF, so I could live the most against a Draco Meteor, provided it was choice specs, and then the U-turn is doing 31 to 36. So the U-turn comes in, does 31. I'm in my head. I'm like, okay, this is confirmed um, choice specs. Not really even thinking about the fact that um, could also be choice scarf. All that really confirms is that it's 0 attack U-turn. Um, I get off the Thunderwave. I went for Thunderwave there in case I could catch Hydreigon. I would rather take the 90 something from Draco and get this slower than Excadrill, and basically not have to deal with it ever again. And then he switches into Comfy, and I'm like, oh yeah, he could just aromatherapy at any point. I Volt Switch out. This was good. It gives me pivoted to Excadrill, but it also gives me some scouting on sort of what kind of build this is. This looks bulkier. It doesn't look like it's like just all offense. Um, so anyway, I kind of expected the um, the switch out. He's not going to let me Ironhead, um, Comfy, turn 3. So I just go into the safe play, the thing that I led with, um, and get um, and get Rotom-Mow in. He ends up staying in. I'm thinking, okay, he probably wanted to aromatherapy and get off the paralysis there. Um, so he goes into Wheezing the next turn. Hard switches into Wheezing as I click Leaf Storm. I just wanted to get off something. It also gives me some intel on the Wheezing. I'm going pretty fast, so I just Volt Switch on it. Bring in Specs Dragapult. Why not just click Shadow Ball? I'm thinking. Um, does a whole lot to Comfy. I switch out to Rotom-Mow, fearing the Draining Kiss, and I can get off this Defog just to get that spike off the field. Here I stay in. I am thinking that if I can Volt Switch, I can see how fast this Scizor is, which can tell me if it's adamant or not. It also gives off the chip damage. I go into my Arcanine. I get knocked off. And from here, I know that he's going to switch out early. So this thing was Life Orb. I know he's going to switch out. I don't know what to, so I click Teleport. This gives me Mienshao, and I can freely click U-turn. So he's kind of getting caught in the vortex where in the first, I don't even know, 11 turns, I've clicked U-turn once, Volt Switch 3 times, and Teleport once. Bring in Dragapult again. I can just click Shadow Ball. This tells me just how bulky this is, and it confirms that it's a SPDEF variant. I bring in my Rotom. It has the coverage, the poison move. Here, I figure I could just throw off the Leaf Storm, scare him out, probably Volt Switch, or I could just Leaf Storm again. It feels like pretty safe either way. I go for the second Leaf Storm. I can always just Volt Switch in front of this like I already have. Straight into Arcanine. Arcanine's also knocked off already, so I'm not. This can be my switch into anything that I think carries knockoff. And then from here, I think I actually just heal up. Yeah. I still have some switch-ins to this Seismitoad. It is getting kind of frustrating. Um, so I clicked Will-O-Wisp. I don't know if I was just expecting the the hard switch. At this point I just felt like I was carrying so much of the offense that he had to do something to stop it. I was thinking he was going to switch out and um, I could potentially burn um, something. And also I think I was actually running calcs against like a mixed seismitoad um, with earthquake. Yeah, because look at this. Look at these. Look at these. I was living a lot of scalds. Um, earthquake. Is this what I doing? No, I don't know what I was doing. Anyway, I clicked that move. He ends up getting rocks up, which is I guess smarter than trying to hard switch. Um, now it's gonna stop me from switching as much as I have been. Um, I ended up going into Mienshao here because I felt like I was free to uh free to take a sludge wave. It felt like that was going to be his play. I know it's incredibly risky because I could have got with the scald. But I guess I should have said beforehand. I haven't played Pokemon a lot recently, so I don't think all my plays were the best they could have been. I felt like Adam played really well, and I felt like my team building was the thing that um, was really doing the most work for me at this point. So I stayed in. I don't know if it was the best play because it could have been. I could have been. All right, I switched into Mienshao. Could have been possibly onto a Scald. Maybe Dragapult would have been a better play there. Um, but I locked myself into U-turn. He knows with Protect. He's getting some recovery. Maybe not. Okay, yeah, because he is burned. So now I go into the play that I should have gone the first time. The resist onto the Sledge Wave. The resist onto the Scald. Um, and I can throw off another Spec Shadow Ball. Here I'm still thinking that Hydreigon is choice specs. That was just because of that calc in the beginning, and so I'm just like, I might as well chip this thing. It'll help later. I bring in Tyranitar, and 30 felt like how much um, specs Hydreigon was doing. Um, but in actuality, it was doing a lot. It was doing a lot more if it was specs. Then let me just change this to choice specs. Yeah, I was doing 36 to 43. So I ended up, without looking at the calc, assuming that it was choice specs. This should have confirmed to me that this was choice scarf. I switch out. I figure he's going to switch out. I go into Rotom-Mow. I can get off a defog. Um, I figure that's a little bit better. I can deal with Wheezing. With Excadrill, I can deal with Wheezing. With my Dragapult. Um, Sludge Bomb doesn't kill, but with the Sandstorm chip, it kills. I go into my Dragapult, click that Shadow Ball, knock out Wheezing. Hydreigon comes back in. This is free for him every time. I don't necessarily recognize that. He goes for the Draco. And here I make a little bit of a... Because I can't live now that the sand's down, even though the Draco... the first Draco drops the special attack, the sand's down, so I can't live another one. So I end up switching out um, into Mienshao. I don't actually think that was the right play either. Maybe I thought he was going to switch out. Anyway, switch out into Mienshao, which wasn't necessarily the best thing for straight to a Draco. But actually, I remember I did that because I'm trying to get health back on this thing. Um, the bullet punch though from Life Orb nearly takes me out. That was a roll in his favor, I think too. Um, so I almost lost the game right there. Um, anyway, switch out, get some heals on that. I think he's just going to go for the aromatherapy to help out with with this thing. I just Iron Head. I just want to take this out. Don't want to have to deal with that, especially since my Assault Vest user and my other special attack Pokemon are gone. Hitmonlee's in. Here's a play that I regret the most. I should have known that my Excadrill was faster. Um, and so I could freely click Earthquake here, do a ton of damage on this thing. Um, and so what's he gonna do? Mach Punch? That's fine. I'm running a Choppleberry. Um, so I'm like built in for this scenario and just forgot about it. Switched to T-Tar for the sack, which I could have used later. Um, but he ends up switching into Hydreigon. So anyway, Sand's up now. I go into Mienshao for the U-turn. It felt very safe. Get in my Excadrill. Excadrill is going to take this out. This is especially defensive Seismitoad, even with the Protect. And now I am back in that same scenario, 51% health, in front of the Hitmonlee. I'm faster than it. I could just Earthquake. I decide not to and go into Arcanine to get off the Intimidate. And then he has this wicked tech of running White Herb, expecting the Intimidate, gets a Mach Punch off on me. And now I know that I can live a close combat and burn it, but I really, 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 really could have just stayed in with Excadrill. Because now I can't live any close combats because it's faster than me. But I lived the crit close combat, was able to burn it, thank God. And then I sack this off. It's not going to do anything anymore. Bring in the Mienshao, and I can just clean up here. I knew I wasn't going to die from that, provided there was a crit. I can close combat twice and win the game. So I played pretty sloppy. I mean, it was I didn't play the most sloppy. I was very proud with how I played early on with all the different teleports and volt switches and U-turns I used to gather momentum in the beginning. It really put Adam in a place where he had to play pretty lights out. And I don't honestly have any criticisms of how he played. But there were just some times that um, I built a team that I thought was really good, and then I didn't even rely on the parts of it to do the things that I wanted to do, and I didn't use the calc when I should have in certain scenarios. So I think I won this game in team building, and maybe that early momentum that I was getting with pivoting into Dragonpolt and just safely cooking um, Shadow Ball. But that was the game. We got our first win of the season. We are now 1-0. I will open up the rankings and show you what's going on. Sword division. Obviously, three of us won, three of us lost. But that we had the best differential. So we're currently in first place in our division, tied for second in across the league and in the ranks. Our next opponent is Columbus Cobalions. Their team is incredibly scary. So thanks for watching this one. Hope you watch the next one. Bye.